Here you are, fresh coffee.
Thanks, it looks great.
I'll get the next order.
She never imagined the quiet homeless man she fed every Sunday would one day leave her everything. Marietta, Ohio, a small riverside town where everybody knows your name and your business. Inside Miller's family diner, the coffee was always hot and the conversations were always slow. That's where 58-year-old Linda Harper worked 6 days a week. Gray streaks in her hair, gentle smile, tired eyes, and a heart bigger than the town itself. Before we continue, tell me something. Where are you watching from today? Are you in the US? What state? And have you ever helped someone never expecting anything in return? Let me know in the comments. Now listen closely because this story unfolds slowly, and if you leave before the end, you'll miss the moment that changed everything. Every Sunday afternoon, right before closing, an elderly homeless man would walk into the diner. He never caused trouble, never asked for money, never spoke more than necessary. He would sit in the same booth near the window. His name was Walter. Most customers avoided him. Some complained quietly to management, but Linda never did. The first time she saw him counting coins for a cup of coffee, she quietly covered the rest of his bill. The next Sunday, she added a slice of pie. After that, it became routine. "On the house," she'd whisper. Walter would nod politely. "Thank you, ma'am." That was usually all he said. For nearly 3 years this continued. Rain, snow, heat. Walter always came on Sundays, and Linda always made sure he left with a warm meal. Have you ever made kindness a habit instead of an event? Tell me in the comments. No one knew much about Walter. Rumors floated around town. Some said he once owned property. Others said he lost everything in bad investments. A few believed he had no family left. Linda never asked. She believed dignity mattered. One evening, as the diner was closing, Walter lingered longer than usual. His hands trembled slightly as he sipped his coffee. "You're too good for this place," he told Linda quietly. She laughed. "I've been here 22 years. Walter looked at her carefully. "Kindness is rare these days." Linda shrugged. "My mother always said, treat people like they matter, even if the world doesn't." Walter smiled softly. That was the longest conversation they ever had. 2 weeks later, Walter didn't show up. Then another Sunday passed. Still nothing. Linda felt uneasy. On the third week, she learned the news from the local paper. An unidentified elderly man had passed away in a small rented room above a hardware store. No family listed, minimal belongings. Linda knew immediately. It was Walter. She sat in her kitchen that night, staring at the table. It surprised her how deeply it hurt, not because she expected anything, but because kindness creates quiet bonds. 5 days after Walter's passing, someone knocked on Linda's front door. A man in a navy suit stood outside holding a leather folder. "Mrs. Linda Harper?" "Yes." "My name is Thomas Green. I'm an attorney representing the estate of Mr. Walter Bennett." Linda froze. "Estate?" "I believe you knew him as Walter." Her hands began to tremble. "Yes, I knew him." The lawyer stepped inside and slowly opened the folder. "Mrs. Harper, Mr. Bennett left specific instructions in his will." Linda blinked. "He requested that you receive the majority of his personal estate." The room felt smaller. "That must be a mistake," she whispered. The lawyer shook his head gently. "No mistake." He placed documents on the table. Walter Bennett wasn't simply a homeless man. He was a retired commercial real estate investor. Years earlier, after his wife passed, he withdrew from society, sold most visible assets quietly, chose to live modestly, almost anonymously, but he never lost ownership of several small properties under private trusts, properties now valued at nearly $1.8 million. Linda's heart pounded. "Why me?" she whispered. The lawyer smiled softly. In his own words, he opened a handwritten letter. "To the only person who treated me like I still mattered when I had nothing left to offer." Tears filled Linda's eyes. The letter continued. "She never asked who I was, never asked what I owned. She simply fed me and spoke to me like a human being." Linda covered her mouth. The lawyer continued. "He had distant relatives, but none who visited, none who called. Walter had updated his will 6 months before his death, specifically naming Linda." The town reacted quickly once the story became public. Some people criticized, some questioned motives, but those who truly knew Linda weren't surprised. She didn't quit her job. She didn't move to another state. Instead, she did something unexpected. She reopened Miller's Diner under new ownership and added one rule. Every Sunday, anyone struggling could eat for free, no questions asked. She called it Walter's Table. A small plaque sat near the window booth, in honor of a man who reminded us that dignity matters. A year later, Linda stood outside the diner, watching families come and go. An elderly couple sat at Walter's booth, laughing softly over coffee. She felt something peaceful settle inside her, not because of the inheritance, but because of what it represented. Kindness seen, kindness remembered, kindness returned. Life moves slowly in small towns, but sometimes the quietest relationships carry the deepest meaning. Walter never announced who he was. Linda never asked. And maybe that's why it mattered. Because true kindness doesn't look for reward. It simply shows up again and again. Before this story ends, let me ask you something. If you were in Linda's position, would you have done anything differently? And have you ever helped someone only to discover later it meant more than you realized? Tell me in the comments. Also, what kind of story would you like next? More inheritance twists? More hidden identity stories? More small-town emotional journeys? And if you don't want to miss stories like this, make sure you subscribe to Story Tales, because the next story might unfold in a way you never see coming. And trust me, you'll want to be here when it does.